And today, as the theme of anything can go wrong, will go wrong, our light has decided to take a crap. I don't know where the replacement fluorescent bulbs are, but whatever. Doesn't matter. I have my car in here for tonight. I'm going to try and get this done really quick, but not too quick, you know. We don't want to just blast our way through stuff. So, my decision is that I'm going to run the power wire for the sub from the battery underneath the fender, along with my relocated harness. So I'm going to knock out like 3 birds with 1 stone here, so be patient. So today I'm going to be pulling this fender off, and we're going to knock out 3 birds with 1 stone, okay? If you recall, we have this big rust spot in the middle of our fender. I also have the stock harness, and we are on coilovers, and I'm low enough to the point where that harness is getting damaged. I've seen it. The harness is damaged, and I want to run the power line through there. So, it's time to take this fender off. We're going to repair this rust. I don't know how. Maybe fiberglass, maybe welding, maybe paint the whole thing, maybe try and blend it. I don't know yet. But it needs to come off because, yeah, that harness is worrying me. It's got to go. It's something that I've procrastinated for far too long, but now I have a really good opportunity to run something with it and get my power. And it's going to be really freaking clean, dude. It's going to be damn near factory. Lexus is going to wish that they were the ones that installed this sub. Alright, let's lift this vehicle up. I have a, when I was in school, I asked my instructor if we could lower this car down because I needed to get the wheels off, and the wheels kept spinning. We weren't allowed to use power tools. And he said, let me show you a trick I learned in the Russian army. He spins it this way, and then cracks it off. It's a simple trick, but I guess when you're dumb and lift your car up, that's what you gotta do. Of course, it's not gonna work for anything with like higher torque than 76 foot-pounds. A few points of interest. We have a spot on the very tippy top that the upper part of our control arm has been hitting. It's mainly because of this weak spring rate, and we're almost max dampening on the coilovers, so this may mean that I may need to upgrade my springs in the future, if not the whole coilovers, if I'm being honest. As you can see, we're rubbing on the fender liner. Oh, and hello. Also, this is not good because that's a very sharp metal edge that my tire is hitting, and I don't like that. Additionally, in search of the clunks, everything feels tight, but my sway bar might be a problem. Well, I got this off without breaking it. That's a miracle. Okay, you have to undo the side skirt a little bit, which is annoying. Hopefully, it will give me enough room to squeeze through here. If not, I might have to take the whole skirt off, which is a bit ridiculous. But here she is. I think I just need to do the top hardware and it'll come out. Maybe. I think we've done what it takes to get this off. Oh. Oh wait, no, of course we haven't. Oh, there's a bolt that's impossible to get, luckily. Let's try that again. Ladies and gentlemen, a moment we've been waiting for forever. Face to face with our true enemy, the rust. Dude, even at like midnight, there's a freaking helicopter when I'm trying to film. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and unclip some of these. Clipperies. Get a look at this harness. There's some definite corrosion on these wires, so I'm gonna take that down, check it all out. I'm gonna disconnect the battery before I do anything else. I'm gonna go ahead and pull both terminals off, so that should give you a better idea of how much of a problem this really is. Oh hell no! However, this is not even on the ground, so it'll probably be even closer when it is on the ground. A fun little thing I learned from the humble mechanic: if you use a seam splitter, which is a sewing tool, it makes getting into harnesses very easy. So while I'm trying to clean this up, I can just sort of stick this in and cut right through it. And it's less dangerous than, you know, slicing into wires. Ow, I just stabbed myself. Maybe it's not safer. You know, instead of just like slicing into the harness and running the risk of cutting a wire and whatnot. Okay, so it's not. I know a lot of people cut the wire and just go through the engine bay. I'm not going to do that. It's a very bad idea to be cutting and splicing an airbag harness. And the thing is, if it's above this line, then it shouldn't be a problem, because we have this metal piece right here that like cannot be hitting the tire. If it's above that, it should be good, because there are much bigger things to be worried about if you're hitting that metal piece. I mean, that can definitely cut into a tire. So we just get the harness up here and call it good. I don't know about the cable as much. Cable might be the harder part. And the washer reservoir should be no problem at all. So I had looked through here. There's like a little harness that goes down here clearly, and I figure maybe there's a place that goes through the firewall. I think I just found it. I think it's this. What I did here was I bent this metal down a little bit to give me just a little bit more room, and also by pointing it down here, this edge is no longer a sharp edge like this, so hopefully that will help from wearing through the harness and give it just a nice place to pass through. It already kind of likes that place. It's already sitting there. So by bending this metal, we have fatigued it. I dremeled a little bit to take the actual sharp edge off, so that doesn't really help with probably the zinc coating, the galvanized coating that's probably on the frame. Additionally, I believe these indentations are crumple points made for this to crumble in a certain way, in a safe way.
Fold here. This LS400 has just encountered a 30-mile-per-hour frontal collision. Those creases you see are energy-absorbing crumple zones. And though they may look like scrap metal, if you're in an accident, you'll think they're a work of art.
This is not ideal, but it's just what we're gonna do. It's what we gotta do to keep this harness safe and go low. Okay, here we are in the harness. Here is our cut and corroded wire. I have this wire. I know the protection on it looks really thick, but I think the gauge is actually gonna be probably about correct. There will likely be some controversy over what is the best way to perform wire repair. Some people say soldering on vehicles is the devil. You have a very high chance, because cars are moving and constantly heating up and cooling down and vibrating, that you have a very high chance for a cold solder joint to happen. And recommend using this kind of terminal, particularly one that has heat shrink on it, instead of soldering. And that is what I like to do. It is easier than getting out the soldering iron and everything. I think in this application, it's not a good idea. These butt connectors have pretty much never failed me, especially when they have this heat shrink tubing. I love it. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this bad wire out as little as possible. It is 20 gauge, and it is not. Wow. That's a little oxidized looking, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, once we're all done, pull on it, make sure we got that. Oh, see, that's why we do it. Okay, now I'll use my little torch to heat it up. Heat the heat shrink. I do not have butt terminals big enough for this one, so I'm probably going to wait to finish this harness. Okay, plus a couple of the seams, plus the area where I'll be rubbing a little bit of spray undercoat, and a little bit, just a little bit on the inside. Bam! We have it fed through the elephant's butthole, or whatever you call it. Grommet, I guess. We drilled through, and that's how we're going to zip tie the harness up. So yeah, that's how we're doing it, man. Pro tip, of course, always drill after your first coat. I just realized that the coolant overflow comes out here. So instead of just like puking out in the engine bay like on most cars, it just politely exits the vehicle appropriately.